I forgot the fish also had magical powers. That was a good fish.
That was fucking weird, man. And then like just became a Tron character halfway through the movie when he gets touched.
Oh yeah, I don't get that Tron reference.
Brunch.
Hit it, boys. Well, Trump and Kim Jong-un are going to meet, so let's make these next few episodes count. Let's say we really...
Was not expecting to open up the
sign off with something big.
Yeah. How do you think that's going to go?
I think that my reaction, and I haven't read much on it, I just saw that they're going to meet. And
before May, so we might have some episodes.
Right, but either before then, during then, or right after then, some fucking crazy shit is going to go down. So, I don't know. No sitting president has ever met with sitting leader of North Korea, and I feel like any other one, I would have been like,
"Oh, that's good."
Maybe, yeah, like,
that's good.
You know, a little dicey, but hey, we're going to make some progress here. The idea that Kim Jong-un and Trump are going to have any sort of interaction beyond what they already have, which is basically subtweeting one another for years.
There was like a photo of them at the Olympics, like 5 feet apart.
Trump or Pence?
Trump.
Really?
I thought so.
I don't know.
Maybe that was wrong. I don't know.
Who cares? Yeah, it's just our lives. Like, what was people's reaction? I was sitting down to a movie as I saw it pop up on Twitter, and I was like, huh.
I was just going to say, people were like presenting it as, oh, this could be a good thing.
Well, it's like, it said something to the effect of, North Korea extends invitation to Trump like for potential denuclearization talks. And I was like, probably not.
Right.
I can't imagine all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Yeah, forget it. We have been way out of line, and boy, do we have egg on our faces. We would just like to send a big ol' apology your way. We're sorry we ruffled so many feathers. We wasted a lot of money testing all those bombs. They worked, turns out, though. At least we found that out. But yeah, we'll for sure get rid of them all. And again, we're
Get Out,
terribly embarrassed.
It's like in Get Out. It's like Allison Williams invites her boyfriend back home for a potential de-racism lesson with her family.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, it could be if they like him enough, but chances are
that is
technically
a possibility.
Yes.
Except everyone else who's gone to that house has not come back. So... Is there potential? Sure, Allison. Yeah.
Right, if there
weren't potential.
If there weren't like a bunch of psychos involved.
Yes, but unfortunately probably the two most powerful irrational actors in the world are going to meet. So that's fine. Everything's fine. I've got an idea on how to fix the Oscars. It didn't really sink into my brain until after we recorded Monday's episode. So
do you think the Oscars need fixing?
Yeah, it's a tweak that can be made. Well, like the show is too long.
The show is for sure too long, but there's a lot of things that can be done to make it shorter.
Right, so here's the fix. It's very, very simple. Think the exact opposite of the way they and everyone else has been thinking forever. Focus on speeches. Make it all about speeches. Everybody has 2 minutes before the music comes on and really kind of dangle a carrot. Not necessarily say you win something if you have the best speech, but like make speeches...
incentivized.
Yeah, you know, like, make them because the only thing that's going to go viral from an award show is somebody saying something crazy during a speech.
Right.
No one's going to be like, "Oh my God, did you see what so and so did in their performance?" Unless it's Kendrick, and you can't have Kendrick perform 10 times in an award show as much as everyone would like that. But so make it so people want to give good speeches. Don't say make it short because no one that's not memorable. No one will fucking care about that. Have a good fucking speech and then get rid of everything else. Get rid of nobody needed fucking a 3-hour long montage. And I saw people tweeting during it saying, "Oh, this is the best part of the show." Well, then you fucking suck because we already saw those movies and they're showing montages of 700-year-old movies. That's
only
not
thing
about
better.
this. It's not what this is about.
The only thing better than watching a movie is watching 7 seconds of 80 movies back to back.
Yes, and saying what movie's I know what that movie is. I liked that movie, and then you miss what the next part of the movie. It made me so mad. Everybody after they showed that super long montage, I was going to tweet. I know how to shorten the fucking Oscars, you idiots, you jet ski fucking dangling motherfuckers, and everybody was like, hands down, that was the best part. Love to see all the fucking montages. Who the fuck?
I'm fine with like a montage. I don't need fucking 7.
Yeah,
and they don't need to be 8 minutes long.
I say that the only musical performance should be the In Memoriam. And then if you want to have another musical performance, do it and show movie scenes set to somebody performing. And that's fucking it. No surprises. No going in and
surprises.
Yeah, no packing. But what fucking idiot. If you're a movie fan and you get invited to something that's the night of the Oscars right next to where they're shooting the Oscars, and they're like, it's for big movie fans only. We're going to show you this movie that the average person probably hasn't heard of unless they're a movie fan. You should probably be maybe a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Think that maybe something's coming.
Also, like, if you're that big of a movie fan, wouldn't you want to watch the Oscars? Like, what movie would you skip the Oscars to go see, like, a screening of?
I wouldn't. If somebody... what's a movie that we're hot on? If you know what, if they were going to show us Book Club, I would skip the Oscars. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we'd
Really?
be able to fucking tease Book Club for months. When does Book Club come out?
Could always tape the Oscars, I suppose.
Yeah.
But like, I think it was they saw A Wrinkle in Time.
Yes.
And that's out this week, so they only
Right.
got like a week head start on A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
It's not that cool.
Yeah. We saw a movie that certainly will not be nominated for an Oscar. Because it just came out, and this is not the time of season to drop Oscar noms.
Get Out though came out around this time.
Yeah, that's like the
outlier.
Yeah, major outlier. Red Sparrow, you saw it and you were like, see it quickly. So I did, and I think that we both had the same feeling. I didn't know what the reviews were or anything like that going in.
I don't look at the reviews anymore.
Yeah,
that's like a thing
garbage
for me now.
Right. Well, you don't want to. You don't. It's the
I used to
Pepsi
do that
challenge.
Though. Well, I used to do that. I used to be like, let's see what's good. I'll go watch it in the movie theater. But that's before Movie Pass.
Right.
Now I'm not afraid of wasting my money on bad movies.
We honestly, after we did the first Lights Camera podcast, we were like, man, fucking Jeff Lowe sees every movie. Isn't that fucking crazy? And then I was thinking about it after, and I was like, I see every movie. I'm pretty sure that we do now. If it's
pretty
even of
close.
remote interest to us, we see it, and then if not, I just pick it off on demand.
We either see every movie or we have intentions on seeing every movie.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't always happen, but we're always like, oh yeah, definitely going to see that.
Yeah, like we're gonna see Death Wish, which again it looks really bad.
Yeah.
But Local Boy made good. Eli Roth made it. So
yeah, Eli Roth has had his ups and downs for sure. He I think his last movie before this one was that fucking cannibal one that everybody went bananas over.
What was the cannibal one?
Like, he had like a very graphic, like it was labeled like violence porn, where it was just
he's considered one of the pioneers of torture porn.
Yeah, so he made a movie about just like people eating each other.
Well, let's see. So Hostel was about as gross as it could get.
Was that an Eli Roth?
Oh, yeah. He did the first two, and then the third one, he was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. And he just kind of ghosted away from it. Did you see those movies?
I saw the first one.
I saw the second half of the first one, and I was so, like, it kind of stuck with me. I was so just icked out by it. And then I went on Wikipedia to read what happened in that movie, and I was like, oh, gross. I hate that.
I mean, even his scene in Inglourious Basterds, like his like iconic scene was fucking brutal as hell.
I know a guy who knows him, and we were talking about him, and he was like, yeah, it's cool. Like, this is exactly the stuff that like he just always wanted to do.
So he was always a psychopath.
And he was like, like make movies. And I was like, oh, I thought you meant like make these kind of movies. And he was like, yeah. I was like, why?
That is like pre-crime.
Right. I guess that this can be a jumping off point for the Red Sparrow conversation, because Red Sparrow, you brought this to my attention. I didn't know about it. Red Sparrow is now a victim of the new thing in art that I'm telling you, I will not fucking stand for this shit. I will lose my shit. I am as liberal as they come. I think that we would both consider ourselves feminists, because what fucking person would not consider themselves a feminist? But this shit of something bad happens in a movie, therefore this movie is problematic because there's a bad guy. Get the fuck out of here, people. Get a grip. I'm not fucking kidding. Like, in video games, when you shoot a fucking person, you're not actually killing somebody. They're not telling you to kill somebody. If we can't have fucking gangster rap where they're talking about shooting people, or fucking horror movies where people get killed, or action movies where they're bad guys.
Action movies, like, they kill people all the time.
God, and I'm not saying that I celebrate that stuff, but that's what fucking art is. Not all art is that, but art is. There's no boundaries in art.
Like telling a story that you wouldn't otherwise see.
And if it's really rough and challenging and like fucking torture porn shit, I was just saying, I can't do. I don't like that shit. But I'm not like how fucking dare you, Eli Roth. Just, it's art
not everything
that
gives you like a visceral reaction is a bad thing.
Yes, and that's a young person thing. That's not like a smart liberal person thing. That's a young person thing. People who are coming up where we're all such fucking snowflakes, which again is a good thing, and they're like, when you see something that's bad, you see something that you feel sends a bad message, you should call it out and you say, hey, I don't like that. When you see it in fucking art, that's what you're seeing is the bad guy.
So just for some context here, the Red Sparrow is about like a Russian spy agency that basically trains women and men to use their bodies.
They recruit hot people, and they're like, your job is to fuck for intelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do it in a very brutal manner. There's like a couple of rape scenes in Red Sparrow. It's tough to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And like after seeing it, I really liked the movie, by the way. Yeah. I thought that it was very good, and I said it was very close to being great. I wouldn't say that it was great.
I thought it was a very good movie. I agree.
Very good. So I went, after I saw the movie, and I looked up reviews, and the first review that I clicked on, which was like it wasn't like a nobody, it was like a big critic site or whatever, I forget whatever it was, but the main criticism of the movie, it was a scathing review. The main criticism of the movie was how many scenes of violence against women do you need to prove a point? And it's like, well, if you're telling a story about a very fucked up organization that uses these women that
puts
uses
women in
their
literally
bodies,
the worst spot possible,
right? And like is telling the story about a woman who is desperate to get out of that situation because it sucks so fucking much. You need to depict the fact that it sucks so fucking much.
Yeah.
And it is an uncomfortable watch, but it's supposed to make you uncomfortable because those people are bad, and it's sending the message that these people are doing some fucked up shit.
I almost walked out of fucking The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I still didn't love that movie as much as everybody else. But have you seen that movie?
No.
So there's a rape scene in that movie, and it's pretty early on. And and when the scene was happening, I was like, if this is the first 10 minutes of this movie, I don't want to see what minutes 11 through 120 or whatever hold. And you're not supposed to fucking enjoy the worst fucking part. Like, it sounds weird. It sounds like we're like defending these awful parts of movies, but
it's like, if you can't show like a rape,
a very hard story,
right?
Then I don't know. We probably sound really fucking weird right now, but
I don't think so. Like, I think that there's a place for that when it's done. Like, I don't think that it was done tastelessly in Red Sparrow.
Yeah,
like they didn't go overboard with it. At least I didn't think. Did you think that they went overboard with it?
No, I mean there's one rape scene. And there's a scene where a guy tries to rape her and she fucks him up.
Yeah,
and both of them, again, like not defending her or anything, like both of them are very short scenes.
Right,
and
they're
you don't
not
have
drawn
to spend
out.
a lot of time with it.
Yeah.
I would say there's a lot of torture in the movie, so like if you don't want to see shit like that, then for sure don't see this movie. But I didn't take it as like they're trying to send some message or anything. It's about a place where they put people in the worst positions possible.
Right, and it's like a place where that shit would probably almost definitely happen. And like even in the torture scenes, I didn't feel like that they went overboard with like the grossness of them.
Yeah, I was doing like the 45-degree angle thing.
There were
I was mostly looking at the screen, but
there were
really.
parts where I was like, "Oh fuck, they're not going to actually show this, right?"
Yeah.
And for the most part, they didn't.
Yeah, but it's like the that movie. Have you seen Law Abiding Citizen?
Yeah.
where there's just a lot of that. A lot of it is kind of like the implication or like the threat of like what you're about to see. So like, you're just like
right. So it's like it's like
you're making a face a lot in this movie.
It's almost like the Louis C.K. bit about the N-word, where it's like when you say the N-word, it makes you think it in your own head.
The N-word, you're putting that word in somebody's head,
somebody else's head. It's like when they showed that, it makes you envision the like actual act of that torture, without showing it themselves.
So I guess that was a very roundabout way of saying it's a very graphic movie, and if you're not into that shit, God, like by all means, don't see the fucking movie. I liked the movie in spite of these scenes. It's a thriller. It's a spy thriller that's, I would say, it's like the Space Mountain of spy thrillers, where you're able to follow it the whole way. And when twists come, they still surprise you, but you never lose fucking sight of it. And I'll be honest, a lot of fucking spy thrillers, they shake me off within the first fucking minute and a half.
What do you mean? Oh, like they tip you off?
No. Like I've fallen off the mechanical bull. I'm like, what is this about?
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good way of putting it. And
like you were never lost in this,
no,
right?
definitely not. And even when like the big twist happened, it wasn't crazy enough where you're just like, all right, what the fuck just happened? It's easy, and they tell it in a way that's executed well enough where you can follow along, and it just like it's never overwhelming, and I think that it's done really well.
So I can't fucking say it, I guess, without spoiling it, but
you definitely don't want to spoil this movie.
So I'll say this: one of the so it has, what does it have? It has 48% from critics and 56% from fans on Rotten Tomatoes.
Both lower than I would imagine.
This was not a well-received movie.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, I would put it in the 80s, I think.
And, again, like, who knows if people don't like it because of how graphic it is. Again, if you say it was fucking too graphic for me, do not take your kids to this movie, God bless. But I honestly don't think they were trying to fucking send any message with any of this stuff.
I think they were just
tell the story.
Trying to tell the story of this thing, which apparently like actually is a realistic thing that used to happen with the Soviets.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Well, like in every movie, even fucking like Munich. You know, have you seen Munich?
No.
Oh, well, there's a girl who's like a honey trap or whatever who she like gets the people or in Hostel. Have you seen Hostel?
Yeah.
Like those girls.
Oh right,
well,
where they lure people back.
This is obviously from more government,
right?
But anyway, one of the fucking negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes was that Jennifer Lawrence didn't have chemistry with anybody. It's a movie where you don't know who she's with and who she's not.
Right.
It's a fucking spy movie. You're not supposed to think that,
like I would put that as a positive for the movie, because the entire movie I was like, I still wasn't sure of her motives, which is exactly what you want from that character.
Yeah.
Because she's supposed to be that way.
Yeah. I thought that she was really good in it.
So did I.
Yeah. I thought that she was a fucking badass, actually.
You see her boobs a lot, by the way. So
yes,
that was her selling point, her own selling point.
Right, she
to people.
said that on the Mark Maron podcast.
Yes, she was like, "Why should we see this movie? Because you see my boobs a lot."
She emasculates the fuck out of a guy who tries to rape her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, she beats the shit out of him, and then
she beats the shit out of him, and then emasculates him in a different way.
Yeah. I thought she was great in it. I mean, I think that she's really good. I'm in a fight with her because she dogged Phantom Thread, but. Maybe we'll
see
get
what
past
she
that.
said about her not having sex?
What?
She said that she hasn't had sex in a long time, probably since like November or something like that, because she's a germaphobe and she doesn't want an STD. And she says that dicks are dangerous.
Did she really?
Yeah. So she said, I talk like I want dick all the time. But
what?
Yeah, that was a quote that she said in this interview. She's like, I talk like I want dick all the time.
You can talk however you want, but Jennifer.
Like, I talk like I want dick all the time, but I'm actually a germaphobe and I'm terrified of getting STDs, so I don't back it up.
Interesting. Well, I think a lot of people are terrified of getting STDs.
Most people should.
I don't think. Yeah, like that's a pretty solid fear to have, I would say.
Dying and STDs, probably up there on my list.
Yeah, I mean, throwing caution to the wind on the whole STD front probably wouldn't be the best idea.
Yeah,
so, commend. So that's a plus for Jennifer Lawrence after the massive minus of making fun of Phantom Thread. I haven't been thrilled with the fucking Shape of Water talk all week.
What do you mean?
A lot of people who didn't see the fucking movie just lightly dogging it.
You're not allowed to make
people
fish.
think they got jokes.
You're not allowed to make fish fucking jokes if you didn't see the movie.
I completely agree. That's a very good rule because you for sure should want to make the fish fucking jokks.
Oh yeah, you should see the movie so that you can make the fish fucking jokes.
Again, my notes when I was seeing the movie was like my 7th or 8th note was, wait, she's not going to fuck the fish, is she? And there's a great chunk of that movie where it kind of settles in.
It's probably gonna happen.
I bet she's gonna fuck that fish. And then when she fucks the fish and she fucking strolls into work fucking big swinging dick.
Got some last night.
Yeah,
she might as well have been wearing
telling
fucking
war stories.
Ron Swanson's
Tiger
red shirt.
Yep. Yeah, she's fucking telling war stories with Octavia Spencer.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter this week. By the way, somebody called the movie "Grinding Nemo," which I thought was hilarious.
That's one of those things that where you retweet it, and then right after you retweet it, you're like, fuck, there's a good chance that was stolen. And I retweeted the stolen one. I did that. Somebody photoshopped under the Toronto sign. It said, we made the fish sex movie.
Wait, it's from Toronto?
Yeah, well, it was shot there, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I retweeted it, but it was like someone had clearly fat Jew'd it.
Classic.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, no, like, I think the thing that makes me mad about it is that, like, when people who haven't seen the movie and are making the fish fucking jokes are just, like, assuming that the movie is bad because it's about a mute woman fucking a fish.
I know.
And, which, like, that is a preposterous plot.
It's
I understand
such a good
that.
movie that it only takes like a minute and a half of
for you to get over it.
Fish sex for you to be like, yeah, well, they fucking love each other.
It makes that
they have chemistry.
It makes that absolutely preposterous plot plausible and acceptable.
Yeah, that is actually.
And that was my argument.
That should have been the tagline. Like, yes, there's fish sex, and no, it won't be that big a problem for you.
Yes. And
it will be before, and then once it happens, you're like, huh, not so bad.
That was my argument for why, like, production and like set work should have won at the Oscars was because it like created this world in which that fish fucking scenario was
Light
like
up
completely fine.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to make the jokes if you haven't seen the movie. That's the rule.
I forgot the fish also had magical powers. That was a good fish.
That was fucking weird, man. Like just became a Tron character halfway through the movie when he gets touched.
Oh yeah. I don't get that Tron reference.
Where he just like lights. You ever seen like the Tron suits where it's just like a suit that just has like neon in different parts and all over the place.
Well, I know. Yeah. Do you think that he's gonna be a popular Halloween costume?
God, I fucking hope not. That thing is disgusting.
You and I think, have so many couples Halloween costume ideas.
I'm okay with the Halloween costume if you're the fish, but then you design some contraption where you like hit yourself in the chest and like a big giant dick flops down.
That's not a bad idea. I could rig something like Zac Efron, a la That Awkward Moment, when he goes to the girl's birthday party.
I don't remember that.
She invites him to her birthday party, and she says, "Oh, and dress up." And he says, "Oh, it's a dress-up party?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, cool, I love dress-up parties." To create this misunderstanding where he thinks it's a costume party and it isn't. No one has ever fucking called it a dress-up party.
No,
that was
seriously.
the biggest stretch in the world. So
I do remember that scene now. What did he go dress as?
he shows up with a headband on and like a cut-off tee, and the T-shirt says "Rock Out," and then he sews a dildo onto his
and like her parents are there,
area.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his dick falls into
the punch bowl.
into her dad's drink.
Close enough.
And then shortly after, her dad dies, and he's not there for her. Yeah.
Classic.
So, fucked up that dress-up party, pal.
Who was the worst person in that movie? It was for sure Zac Efron, right? Because Miles Teller was just like.
No, Miles Teller was just a single guy having fun.
Right. He was just like, he had mixed communications, like mixed wiring with the girl. What was it, Colby Smulders?
No.
It was.
But she's got kind of a Colby Smulders type of thing
vibe
going on.
She was like the cool girl.
Yeah, she's the girl from Blade Runner, which you didn't see?
No.
She's very, very pretty.
I do remember that he was with she wasn't like the it girl, but she was like the
one in their friend group. Yeah, well, she was just the one in their friend group.
He kind of broke through the friend zone.
Yeah, but they're the close ones of that group.
Yeah, and they were like towing the line.
And then Michael B. Jordan is recently divorced, and he starts to see his ex-wife again, and then he's having dinner with his ex-wife and sees that she's still having sex with the guy for whom she left him, and they get in this big thing, and then Imogen Poots' dad dies, and Zac Efron is not there for her.
You know this
and
movie
she's
like the back of
I
your
needed
hand.
you, and you weren't there for me. And he's like...
Then he surprises
and
her
they
at a
say
library
some
or
stuff
something.
about rosters. They talk a lot about rosters. And then...
Okay, that's enough.
And then he calls a fuck buddy to try to get over it. And... he's like, hey, do you want to just hang out and talk? And she's like, no,
you're Zac Efron.
Right. And she's like, and I think it's like mid-sex she says to him, like, dude, don't you have any friends? And it's the saddest fucking thing in the world.
But the most unrealistic part about that
finish.
movie, is anybody divorcing Michael B. Jordan.
I know, especially, he plays a doctor.
Yeah. Imagine seeing that guy and being like, it looks like that and a doctor? Nah, not for me.
Oh, man.
Remember that time that Feidelberg said that Michael B. Jordan wasn't that good looking?
Yeah. And he
What a
was like, is that
fucking idiot.
racist? I was like, no, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You
What an idiot.
Michael B. Jordan's so handsome. And he's tossing those inclusion riders into
Yeah, baby. I recently,
all them Johns.
I don't know how it took me so long, but I started following him on Instagram like last week.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is so fucking hot.
Yeah.
It's
he's a
unbelievable.
babe. I'm still having a blast with Rashida Jones's Instagram. Did you follow her yet?
No.
I told you what she does.
No.
She posts videos of like her workouts, her exercise is she dances with a choreographer. So it's like her and a choreographer, and they're just like dancing to whatever the cool new song is, and it's awesome. She's like a good
I'm for
dancer.
sure gonna have to do that.
She's so fucking cool, and it's not like she's wearing yoga pants and a sports bra or anything. She's wearing fucking like sweats and just dancing, and that's my fucking heart right there. That's all I'm trying to do. Oh,
Can
boy.
you dance?
Can I dance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like good?
I don't know how to do dance moves or anything, but like I get on the floor and kind of the center of attention.
That could go either way,
right,
though.
that's true. Yeah, the dance floor is...
Remember, okay, so we were at a bar a couple weekends ago, and there was a girl on the dance floor, and she was like by herself, I
Yeah.
think, and she went to the bar to fucking dance.
Yes, and
She
was
wasn't
just, like,
drinking.
dancing it all away.
She wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't doing like the I'm alone, I'm gonna dance and like please come up to me.
Someone,
like
come over.
like
No.
it was not an invitation.
Yeah.
If anybody went over to that girl, I didn't see anybody do it, but if
Right.
anybody went over to that girl, I would assume that she would just be like, no, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
I came here to fucking dance.
And you and I were just staring at her, mouths agape.
It was
not in
captivating,
like
not in like a horny guy
totally,
way.
not
We were
in a
just
guy
like,
way.
I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody like literally show up to a bar and like treat it as a dance audition.
Oh man, what a cool fucking person! It was very, very impressive.
It was like almost inspiring.
Yeah.
Because that girl has to have like incredible self-confidence.
Yeah.
To just show up alone and just fucking tear it up
Yeah.
without a care in the world.
I'm trying to think. I think that I'm at the age now. So this thing that we were at, it was like it was the club basically, and it was just like a fella's night out, getting some beers, then going to this club thing. So
Don't call it a club. It wasn't a club.
no,
it was
a club thing.
It was a club thing.
Yeah,
It was like I fucking hate the club.
Yeah.
This was a bar scene,
Bar basement.
with club with like a DJ.
Yeah, yeah.
Who played good music.
Yes, and it was a lot of dancing, but just it was out of the question that you or I would participate in it, because we were just like out with the fellas,
right.
and also I just felt so fucking old. That's not, a couple weekends ago I went to one of those types of things and went dancing, but I was with friends
who would be more comfortable in dancing.
Right. It was like, hey, you want to go to this thing? They play shitty music and everybody dances. I was like, fuck yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And then I went there and I fell down or whatever. But yeah, I felt when we were at that thing, I was like, I'm too old to just be a guy that just fucking walks out there and is like, so, I'm dancing. They'd be like, that solo dancing person would be like, that solo dancing person is fucking embarrassing.
Right, because if you're solo dancing, you have to be fucking good at dancing.
Right. Oh, no, see, I'm as good at dancing as that girl.
I don't know.
That
girl was, I don't know if you would have, like, the conviction that girl had.
So I'm a self-taught dancer, but you have to understand, I'm
a self-employed dancer.
I have a ridiculous attention to detail when it comes to things like music, right?
Yes.
So I have watched a bajillion Jackson 5 performances. All of my dance moves are modeled after young Michael Jackson. It's a lot of...
I feel like that could be problematic.
It's a lot of... Whatever. It's a lot of, like, stepping a little too far away, then sliding over, then kind of giving a big step down, and it's a lot of fucking shoulders, and trust me, ask my fucking friends. They'll be like, yeah, he knows it, but he's good at dancing. That's what it would be. He's really good at dancing, but he fucking knows it. But I feel like you want to know it.
Yeah, you want to know it, but you don't want to exude it.
What, like, make
like
way,
I know
yeah.
I'm fucking killing this
right.
dance.
Yeah, I do it with kind of the way I do everything, just like a light little smirk on my face. So like you kind of laugh along with it, but you're like, oh, this
fuck this guy.
yeah, you're like, okay, pal, we get
wrap it up there.
That actually happens too much. Where like I'll be, it's usually when I'm like buzzed or drunk, where something is amusing me, and I'm kind of going down that path. And I'll usually have, like, one friend, usually whoever is fucking responsible for me, is like, oh, okay, yeah, very
we
funny.
Get it.
Okay.
We get it, bud.
Let's finish this up. Okay. Well, okay, here we go. Bye-bye.
All right. We have some reviews. Ooh. So let's hit those. First one is Guide for New Listeners by John L. Guri. If you're trying to figure out which voice is which, DJ is the voice that's always arguing that his incorrect opinion is correct, and Pete's is the short voice.
Is the short voice? That's mean.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're the voice that is always arguing that your incorrect opinion is correct.
I'd accept that.
I think that's pretty close to accurate. I wouldn't say that you're always incorrect, but you're always arguing that you are correct.
I would say that I'm like the more passionate in like when we're trying to sway you on something.
You're the defender
I'm the one that's
of
gonna
truths.
fucking melt down.
Yes.
You're gonna be the one that's fucking annoyed by it, and I'm gonna be the one that's fucking ruined by it.
What a Year It's Been by Tim Curtin 100. The Oscar podcast marks the 1-year anniversary of me being a Bruntouchable, and oh my, what a year it's been. The first podcast I listened to, the bad boys described Moonlight as the story of a guy trying to get a hand job, and I knew I was in for a wild ride. Love the pod, guys. Keep up the good work. More Paddington talk, please, by... very unintelligible name. After listening to practically nothing but this podcast for the past 4 months, highly suggested, a few notes. As somebody who lives in Syracuse but is not from Syracuse, I find your casual bashing of Syracuse very funny. For the ginger snaps of your life, visit Fatuli's on Thames or Thames the next time you're in Newport. I once tweeted... after she released episode 0 that Katie Nolan's podcast would be my new favorite podcast, but I was mistaken. Brunch reigns supreme. Official review, good.
Nice. When have we ever talked about Syracuse?
I don't know. Have we ever bashed like the like
Newhouse and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that's probably the situation in which we would bash Syracuse.
Probably. The more shit that we learn about the biz, I've kind of found that the more acceptable it is to be yourself. And one of my kind of fears with our industry, which is the journalism and broadcasting shit, is that I can never be a fucking... So, the Red Sox are in action tonight.
Yeah.
They have what it could take. Well, left-hander David Price was on the mound. And I can't do that shit. And as over the years, like, a lot of people who aren't like that have had enough success that I think that we've realized, like, oh yeah, you can fucking just be yourself. Yeah. So I think that when I was in high school, I met Michael Hawley, and people will probably be pissed off at him for me saying this, but I told him which schools I was applying to, and I told him Syracuse was one of them, and he was like, don't go to Syracuse. He was like, go someplace with a good program and just fucking figure out who you are. I was like, okay. So I did that.
That would be, now looking back on it, that is an incredible piece of advice.
It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Because I wanted to go to Syracuse. As a journalist person, I wanted to go to Syracuse. I applied to Syracuse. I did not get in. Well, I got waitlisted.
Same.
I got waitlisted, and I decided not to go. And looking back on it, like, I was fucking dead set on going to Syracuse. I was devastated that I didn't get into Newhouse. Looking back on it, I'm so fucking glad that I didn't get in there, because I don't want to be one of those people that you're like, oh, well, I went to fucking Syracuse, blah, 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 blah. And I just like the idea of being somebody from a small school and like still being able to like make it.
So you're a bad example of this, because you were very, very ambitious from a young age. But if you went to Syracuse, there's a good chance we wouldn't have fucking heard word one from you. You know? You just fucking go there. Like, you would have gotten a cool internship or whatever, but you would have just been fucking buried.
Small fish in a big pond.
Totally. That's exactly what Holly said to me, and I brought that up to him like a couple months ago, and I was like, hey, do you remember that? And he was like, yeah, what did I say again? And I was like, you told me not to go to Syracuse. And he was like, yeah, that makes sense. And you're like, well, Syracuse is fucking awesome. Like, it's the best at that, but you don't just need to be able to do that. I could have fucking tried my balls off, and I'd never be able to do that, because I am a much more conversational person than I am a kind of boxy, polished person.
Let me put on my journalism pants.
And I either speak with vocalized pauses or actual pauses, and that's fucking fine. Sometimes they can be way too much. I'll see myself in a clip or whatever, and
be like, I should work on that.
The likes will pile up, or the uhs will pile up, and you're like, well, if it's that noticeable, then it's a problem. But generally, if you need to fucking throw a vocalized pause
makes you
in there,
seem like a fucking human.
Right. And also, one of my biggest vocalized pauses is definitely fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Gotta have fucking for something.
Yeah, I gotta work on that if I fucking am trying to get on TV, because I'm fucking trying to get on TV.
I've almost said it so many times. It's unbelievable. Shit you can kind of let slide, but you're really not supposed to. And
there's absolutely no writing off a fuck.
Right. We had to do a thing. It was we were doing a Mount Rushmore week after President's Day, and we had to do a Mount Rushmore of whatever each day. And one of mine was Mount Rushmore of ideas we've stolen from Pardon My Take, and everyone got mad at me. But one of them was one of my coworkers did Mount Rushmore of euphemisms for sex. And that is, I don't think that you fucking listen to us for fucking guy war story shit. And honestly, we don't have enough of them for you to fucking want to hear any of them. So that's not our bag. But names for sex is such a fucking funny conversation.
It absolutely is.
Like Stupping. Have we ever talked about my affinity for Stupping?
Yeah.
I don't
know if we've talked about it, but like, I've been friends with you long enough that I know your affinity for Stupping.
So I love the word Stupping because it means having sex with, but it's best used when you don't use a name. So if one of my friends were to, which they wouldn't because Pete is wifed up, but if one of my friends were to start hooking up with Pete, I'd be able to be like, hey, did you hear so-and-so is Stupping the podcast boy? And it's got to be like Stupping the mailman or Stupping the orthodontist.
That's pretty awesome.
I love stuff like that. So anyway, he was going down his, and he was like, the horizontal bop. This, Stupping, because DJ would fucking cry if we didn't put it in there. And whatever. And I really want to be like, you left out a big one. fucking. And it would have been such a great, hilarious way to get fired.
Just to like look at the camera and be like, fucking.
Like, and my personal favorite, the fuck.
That would be the greatest way to go out and never get a job on TV ever again.
Because you couldn't even say it was a momentary lapse.
Right. It was just completely planned.
It was just a 45-second period where I forgot for all 45 seconds I was on television.
Yes. And it would go viral, and everybody would know you as the fucking guy.
Although I did say, I was like, wait, are we allowed to, can we say? And they were like, don't say it.
Ask.
Right, if you have to ask, don't. No. And I was like, I think you can. It's the something zone. And they were like, what? And I was like, the you know what
the
zone?
bone zone?
Yeah, the bone zone. Yeah. And I was like, bone? You say bone zone, right? And they were like, yeah, probably. And I think they
Did you go for it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
I was going to whisper it, but then like I was going to do one of these where you cover up your face and say it, but the mic is still kind of right there.
Speaking of the bone zone.
Uh-oh. Big congrats are in order.
Nope. Speaking of the bone zone.
One day.
The new trailer for Christopher Robin came out, and Paddington is fucking up.
Why?
Paddington's fucking up Pooh.
Oh,
Because it's
yeah,
not
I was
even
gonna
close.
say, like, fucking up by not being as good as that piece of shit?
No, Paddington is fucking up Pooh. It's not even close.
Paddington is... I think I took, like, a time release Paddington capsule.
Right? It's just only getting stronger.
Yeah, because it's... So I saw it.
See, I
agreed it was great. I was so happy for you that you loved it more than anything I've ever seen you love in your life. In fact, I texted you the other day, and I was like, thoughts on a Paddington tattoo? And you were like, no.
I said no, but I was like, but wait.
It would have to, yeah.
It would have to be in the right situation.
That would be so... I don't even know where I'd put a Paddington tattoo on you.
I said that I would only get it if I got a sleeve.
A Paddington sleeve would be sick.
Not a Paddington sleeve.
You'd put him in the sleeve?
In a sleeve.
But if you got a sleeve, would you do black and white or color?
Black and white.
Right,
so
because black and white sleeves
are
better, and a black and white Paddington would be... Because the
but
colors...
you can add a little bit of color in a black and white sleeve.
Yeah.
You just have like a little blue hat.
Yeah.
Red.
Yeah. I just watched... I watched Paddington 1, and it really is, I think... It's almost like Max Martin gets some frequencies into his productions that just make it so even if the song's a fucking piece of shit, your ears are just fucking delighted by it.
Yeah.
And that's what Paddington is, because those colors and the brightness is just fucking popping. It's crazy. Sally Hawkins, what a babe, is always wearing fucking like yellow stockings and red fucking clogs or something like that. It's wild.
It's such a good movie. Like the colors in the second one are unbelievable too. Like when they're in prison, and the pink uniforms, and then all of a sudden it becomes like a 5-star hotel in prison. So the new trailer for Christopher Robin came out, which is like the live action Pooh. When Christopher Robin's like a very old person.
Yeah, get over Chris.
Well, yeah, what?
Are you still going by fucking Christopher Robin?
The premise of the movie based on the trailer looks very weird, and speaking of looking very weird,
this is more problematic than Red Sparrow.
Oh, how?
Because fucking you got a fucking freak adult, and it's a kids
still
movie.
Hanging on to a fucking teddy bear.
Right. This is at least Red Sparrow is okay, 17 and up year olds. This is going to be some tough shit.
What is the
This is like, hey, children, check out this fucking weirdo adult.
Also, what's the fucking obsession with Christopher Robin?
I know.
Like, that's the most interesting aspect of the Pooh universe to you. Last year, they had the Goodbye Christopher Robin movie, which was basically like the start of how Pooh got started. And now we're doing Christopher Robin, which is Christopher Robin as an adult. Like, what?
You know what this is? This is when Enrique Iglesias came out, and he was hot shit. Not Enrique Iglesias, Ricky Martin was hot shit. Right after, they were like, all right, we need a fucking in sync to this Backstreet Boys situation. And they came out with Enrique Iglesias. And it was a lot of fun. And then they just... Mark Anthony was in the mix, but there was just no fucking shortage. Latin music was hot. So what did they do? they had fucking 98 Degrees saying, "Give me just one night," in parentheses, una noche. And that's what this is. There's people are saying that Paddington is hot shit, and they're like, what other potential bear shit we got? Pooh? Too obvious? What's his friend? Christopher Robin? Yeah.
We'll work that in.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Pooh, because Pooh is like the OG.
Pooh's okay.
Pooh is like the OG when it comes to bears.
How old is that fucking guy, though?
Pooh?
Pooh.
Pooh is like fucking old as shit.
He's like a fucking 70-year-old bear with dementia who's like, I can't find my honey.
Right, like Pooh is kind of a problematic character.
Yeah.
Like Paddington is a young ass bear.
Paddington, you know how you know that Paddington's young? Because he fucks up absolutely everything. Paddington,
no, you know how you know
is
Paddington
adorable, but he has never done one fucking thing right in his life.
Which is that's the amazing part about the
that
Paddington
shows how
franchise.
great that movie is. That even Paddington can't fuck it up. He fucks up everything.
I was gonna say that's how fucking amazing the movies are, because he fucks up everything, and yet you still love him with every
oh god
possible heartstring. But no, I think the like Paddington, you can tell that he's young because he still enjoys life. And he still has such a positive outlook.
Well, he's also around Sally Hawkins all the time.
It's true.
Sally Hawkins is such a babe.
I just want to say the Pooh in the Christopher Robin movie does not look appetizing.
No.
He looks like a fucking Brillo pad
He looks
bear.
like he needs a fucking car wash.
Yeah. I don't understand why the hell they would turn Pooh into that thing.
You know what he looks like? Did you see Steve-O's dog?
Yeah.
He looks like
looks like Steve-O's dog.
They
but
clean the dog, and the dog looks amazing after.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, I didn't know that dog could be that pretty. He looks like the before. Yeah.
Yes. He looks like a street bear.
Yes.
maybe that's the premise of the movie.
But
Pooh
Paddington
just becomes
starts off as
bear.
a street bear because he's just chilling out in the train station.
True, but he came from like
right,
he was never like a prolonged street
right,
bear.
like he wasn't actually on the streets.
Maybe
but
the premise of Christopher Robin is that like Pooh develops like a heroin addiction and just ends up living on the street for years.
Do we know who plays Christopher Robin?
Yeah, it's Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Benedict Cumberbatch is playing the Grinch in the new one.
Which what the fuck?
I hate that. I like the
so
idea
much.
of it not being Jim Carrey because I need another voice for the Grinch, and I can't. The whole time I was watching it, the preview, I couldn't figure out which voice I need. But the Grinch is supposed to sound like this, you know? It's supposed to be like a deeper, kind of very curmudgeon-y voice, and I don't know who has that voice. It would have to be somebody putting on that voice, but Benedict Cumberbatch sure as shit isn't going to do that.
No, and like I hated everything about
You know
this.
who should do it?
Who?
Fucking Tim Curry.
That's a pretty good one.
Tim Curry would be great.
That could work. But I hated the new Grinch trailer so much. Like I hated everything about it. It's very much the like the minionization of the Grinch, and that makes me really mad because the Grinch is OG. You can't touch it. You can't like adjust the Grinch to today's like you can't whore out the Grinch with like today's CGI and animated movie tendencies.
You're not a huge Despicable Me guy, right?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
But like I don't want that to infect all of like my childhood things.
Because they realized that they were going down a path where they were way too committed to the Minions. And that's why the third one, I feel like the third one people didn't love. I liked it, but people were upset because they were like, where are all the Minions? It's like they're fucking protecting you, dude.
Yeah.
But
then they went out and they made a fucking Minions movie.
Right. But they did 1, 2 Minions and then 3.
3, okay.
So, yeah, I thought it was, I don't know, I like those movies. We got some big shit coming up. Next week we're going to have an episode all about Josh Gad called March Gadness.
Yes.
And it might feature Josh Gad. Honestly, we haven't figured out whether or not we want to ask him.
Yeah.
It might be more fun to just...
I think it's funny that we're doing a whole Josh Gad episode because I'm pretty sure that both of us don't like Josh.
I don't
Gad.
like Josh Gad. No.
and it's hard for me to put my finger on why I don't like him. For you, I think it's a little easier. Like you've vocalized your distaste for Josh Gad, but like for me,
they just always make him the gross guy. They always make him so he's doesn't like. Stubble's not even the right word. He's always shaven in the worst fucking possible way, and he's
his goddamn mustache and the Murder on the Orient Express.
That's the best he's looked, dude.
It was the best. It's the best that he's looked, but he was still like they still
see Love
could
and
not
Other Drugs.
perfect him.
He is disgusting.
Really?
Yeah. Ugh.
I loved. I
in
love
that movie
New Girl.
there's only hot people in that movie. It's fucking Jake Gyllenhaal and Anne Hathaway. I guess Hank Azaria is not that hot. He has his days.
Hank Azaria is pretty hot.
Hank Azaria
is pretty hot for an old guy.
But he plays.
But he's hot. He's hot and like
a real
distinguished.
perv. Yeah, He's hot in a didn't find it weird that Phoebe was into him kind of way.
Oh, definitely not.
Also, we haven't talked about this, but Roan, who's a fucking king, awesome. He and I go way back.
Barstool Roan?
Yeah. By that I mean I go back watching his rap battle shit from before the Barstool days. Didn't even understand they were the same person. But they did a thing about Michael Rappaport after Michael Rappaport was fired. And the whole thing was fucking shitting on Phoebe.
Yeah.
And that's really stupid. Phoebe was hot.
I tweeted at the Barstool account. I was like, I won't stand for this Phoebe slander. It was a lot of unnecessary Phoebe slander. And like, if I've grown to dislike Michael Rappaport a lot in the past year or so, but like the one thing that I won't bash him for is like I would never be like, oh, you're on Friends, fucking like using that as an insult is a wild insult because you're basically saying, oh, you were on one of the most popular fucking TV sitcoms of all time. What a fucking loser.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Michael Rappaport gives you a lot more ammunition, so you have a lot more to work with than just that. But fucking Love returns today. It's out.
Yeah, it comes back today, Friday, and it really kind of snuck up on us.
I know.
It was really, well, I guess that's kind of the case with everything that Netflix does now because there's so much shit on Netflix that there's no longer like the incoming in 2 months.
I didn't know that a Chris Rock special was coming out.
Right.
You know, this is the final season.
Yes.
And
I don't know, where did that come from? Because I thought Love was doing pretty well.
Right. So I was rewatching the second season, and it dawned on me, and it shouldn't have dawned on me because I think that we know this. That show is kind of Judd Apatow's playground. Because when you look at who fucking directs episodes and shit like that and who writes them, there is just everybody is all over that show. I know that like John Slattery from Mad Men, I think you definitely know him if you saw him.
I know who he is. Yeah.
So,
the white-haired guy, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's directed a bunch of episodes, and then at least the last 2 episodes of last season were directed by Joe Swanberg, who's the Easy guy.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, no wonder this is all this is like never bad because they have this kind of rotating cast of really good people doing it.
Speaking of that, I started watching The Good Place this week, and I know that's like pretty popular.
Yeah.
But like that's a real who's who of credits if you're big on Twitter.
Oh, really? Because what's his face?
It's
the
Michael Schur.
Oh wait, I thought what show is the Ringer guy Greenwald writing for?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But like Michael Schur, you know Michael Schur, like Parks and Rec, The Office. But like he
plays what's his face?
Dwight's
Mose?
cousin. Yeah, Mose. So like he's like a big Twitter guy. He's Ken Tremendous on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that guy.
So like, do you know Megan Amram?
Yeah.
So she's a writer for The Good
Harvard.
Place. Joe Mandy is a writer. Alan Yang from Master of None.
Yeah.
So like going through the credits of that, I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Nice.
It's weird to do that because I'm never a person that like notices names in like writing credits. So it's fun to get to that point where you're like, hey, sort of know that person, familiar with their work. But The Good Place is funny. I've enjoyed it so far.
Speaking of Megan Amram, if that's her last name,
it is.
It is. Yeah. I just never knew how to pronounce it, and I remember one of my friends from high school was friends with her in college.
Really?
And would always like share her stuff on Facebook and everything and be like, oh, like Megan's doing stuff on Parks and Rec and everything. I was like, fuck, I don't know how to say that name. But
I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but I know that that's like
it's
phonetically
roughly.
seems.
It's Megan.
Yes.
Billy Eichner shared a clip of one of his scenes from Parks and Rec, and honestly, I'd forgotten that he was in Parks and Rec.
Right.
But
his character sucked.
They're
Parks
in a
and Rec.
meeting, and they're like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "This is Sandra. She drove me here." and Tom's
Was
like,
that Megan Amram?
well, he followed it up by saying like, this whole thing was written by.
Oh, okay.
Megan. But then Tom's like, "Hey, how'd you get here?" And he's like, "Aren't you listening? She drove me here." and so there's like 2 or 3 more times that he screams, "She drove me here." What a good show.